Welcome again to another installment of Risk Unfiltered. As usual, I'm Ken Hackshaw. On behalf of the Caribbean Risk Management Academy, I would like to welcome the one, the only, the future of entertainment in Trinidad and Tobago, Miss Terri Lyons.
Hi.
Terri!
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Terri, we have been trying, or I've been trying to get Terri on for a while. And she was making a bunch of excuses. We finally, I finally threatened her. So here she is. We intend to have a pretty good conversation. Many of the folks who will be listening to this will know of Terri Lyons. So, and you are the ultimate entertainer because you're an actress, a model,
Yes.
And obviously you sing. But if I was to ask you, of all the aspects of entertainment that you're involved with, which one you most enjoy doing? Which one you have the greatest passion for?
I have the most greatest passion for the singing. Secondly, the creating.
Okay.
Not just creating like music, but like designs, whether it's costume, whether it's decorating a house. Once it has to do with creating something and putting stuff together, I love that.
Yeah, and actually you kind of good. And in the essence of full disclosure, you have some work to do at my house, but we'll talk about that after that. So, but I need a creator. I need like a fashion designer kind of thing. All right, so so let's jump into it. As an entertainer over the last 18 months, more so, well, globally, but in Trinidad and Tobago, you guys were hit pretty hard with
Yep.
You know, no carnival, no gigs. So how was Terri Lyons impacted, both professionally and personally with COVID-19 and the lockdown?
Well, actually, professionally, personally, mentally, financially, and even spiritually.
Okay.
It's been, yes, it affected all levels. This is not something that, you know, I was expecting. I don't think anyone was expecting. So the sudden lockdown was, at first was like, you know what, after a month, it's all going to go away. But seeing after that, the lockdown continued for a good set of months. And being a creative person, not being able to, you know, get everything out of here into the studio, it started to affect me differently. I'm not going to be like the artist and ball, you know, like, yeah, I was good, I have life. Yes, I thank God for life, but I also want to work.
Yeah.
And especially when you're passionate about something, and that is what you're doing. When you love doing what you do,
yeah.
Being kept away from it, it not only impacts you physically and financially, mentally, it does a lot.
Okay. So how did you treat with that? So what did you do so that you didn't go crazy and that you didn't go broke? How creative were you into continuing to ply your trade in the entertainment space?
Well, being the person that I am, once my back is against the wall, my brain reacts quickly.
Okay.
Right. And with that, I did shows, online shows, that not only was beneficial to myself, but also to other entertainers at the time who just needed to keep food on their table, lights on, internet on, and rent paid. So with that also, being inside also did a good for me, because ideas and stuff that I always wanted to do, I started working on it. This gave me the time to start working on it and taking that seriously also. So besides the singing, I ventured in other stuff that has nothing to do with singing, but stuff that I always was passionate to have, businesses on the side.
Okay, great.
And those are the things that kept me occupied.
Right.
I mean, yes, it was a lot of work, and yes, I was restricted in certain avenues, but at least it gave me the time to work on those part of Terri Lyons, the brand, because it's not just singing.
Well, that's what I'm sure. So I'm going to use some big risk words. So what you actually did was you diversified. You got
Yes.
into other things, right?
Of course.
Right. So since it is a sort of like risk theme or entertainment risk conversation we're having, we'll go along those lines. So, and if I remember correctly, you were one of the first artists to begin the online shows, the virtual
Virtual
performances.
shows. And
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
hey, and
yeah, yeah,
actually,
yeah,
it was,
yeah.
first of all, we
I was
went,
successful too. Was a
yes,
successful.
it was very
Yeah,
successful.
yeah.
Thank you to the team of WAC. It was great. We went into it not knowing how would it pan out because, you know, we so accustomed with that personal interaction with crowd and everything that doing this online, we was wondering, would they tune in?
Yeah.
Would they play? Would they? But everything came out great. So after that, I continued, not with myself, but with other artists. And I also registered my own show, which is called Calypso Fest. My own company.
Right.
So I
Brilliant.
do my own, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's stay with that whole diversification and growth theme around entertainment. If you were to, so let's say the Honorable Minister of Culture calls Terri and says, Ms. Lyons, give me some advice so that not if, we are going to have another pandemic. It may not be as bad as this one, hopefully,
Yeah.
God forbid, but there are others to come. So he says, Ms. Lyons, give me some ideas to mitigate the impact to artists like yourself if this was to happen again. What should the decision makers, call them the government, how can they help to ensure that it's not as impacted if and when this was to happen again? What advice would you give to the
concerning culture? Well, first of all, concerning culture, you first have to understand how important culture is to that country. Because there are a lot of people that can hold positions, but not connected to the culture. Because there are a lot of people don't take what we do as work.
Yeah.
They watch it as a hobby. Even the banks, they watch it as a hobby, right? Yeah, they do. Because I've experienced this myself.
It's not like a job. It's not like a real job. It's a
there are a lot of things that they haven't put in place for artists. For instance, like NIS and these stuff. There's a lot of things that they haven't put in place that we need and that we are asking for. So first, before we even start with, all right, you could do this kind of show or you could do this kind of show, we need to bridge that gap first.
Yeah.
We have to have a conversation of, let's get the business side of it done properly and understand the culture, because a lot of them don't. But
Terri, isn't that part, well, the person, the entertainer themselves have a role to play in there, because
yes, they do.
I mean, you understand and probably credit to part of your management team, but you have now a structure around you, right? So all of these things you're talking about, but many of your fellow artists don't. They still treat this thing like a hobby or a part-time thing. So
well, true, because how it was structured from the start is in the beginning, there were a time where dancehall would play more than soca. We don't have an industry.
Okay.
First of all, for this thing to survive properly or to make the revenue that it can make, we have to make this our culture an industry. Right now we have a festival, hence the reason why persons will just treat it as a hustle to see how much money they can make within the 3 months, because if this is our job, our 8 to 4, it don't start at 8 and finish at 4, but our 8 to 4, I'm just using.
Yeah.
And we only have 3 months in our own island to gather up a certain amount of money to pay the same bills
for the rest
everyone
of the year.
else for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And according to how you live, your expenses is a lot higher. I'm not saying you want to live lavish, but if you have a big house, it is a lot to maintain a house.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So staying with that. All right. So there's a part the organizers can play to help move the soca Calypso space forward, there's a part that the entertainer performers themselves need to do, right? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
true.
Right. Okay. So let's move along that continuum for a second there. So the 3 months, and I think you're obviously referring to the carnival period in Trinidad, right? Okay. So some folks will suggest that, okay, but there's literally, outside of COVID, a carnival in another part of the world almost every month, right? But then again, that's only a select few.
That is only a select few.
So what can be done if, again, going back to the suggestions that if the advice you can give to the minister, what would you suggest as something that could be done the rest of the year whereby you guys could be gainfully employed? Because the government can't just be putting on shows. So there must be something in place. Yeah.
First of all, every year or every 2 years, there's a country somewhere that starting carnival somewhere. And if we are the mecca of carnival and in the Caribbean, this is where it comes from. We can also like license, like if they, like say for instance, I have a country and I want to throw carnival for the first time, I want to start it there. I must go to the heads, and the heads is Trinidad and Tobago of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
You understand me? So that revenue back. You understand me? We have to, that's why I say, other than throwing shows, because throwing shows is just a one-time thing.
Yeah. So maybe
we have to make it consistent, something that has a strong hold.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's one part of it. So let's bring it back to Terri Lyons. So you're in Trinidad now. I imagine that you have plans to come out to North America pretty soon, yes? Because this is where the action is. Almost everybody and their grandmom now, by way of entertainers, is out here. So how do you then, so earlier on, a little bit earlier on, we were talking about diversification, and you would have started getting involved with other things, right? So I'm gonna use another risk term, which is called like business continuity. So if you are, so let's say you have a couple other businesses that are thriving, right? And you are the owner of this business, of these businesses. So and you have to travel to perform. Just as you would have put a good team together, do you have folks that you could bring around you that could continue to assist you in growing the other types of businesses you may be involved with while you're traveling, performing? Or is that something you're now planning on doing? Because you have to get there.
That is something I'm developing right now, because I myself have certain things that I need to tweak within myself and my career. Because in the past, I used to like just go with whatever management said, but it was not like dealing with Terri Lyons.
Right.
It was more like dealing like what everybody else doing. Let's do that.
Right.
So with this now, I am now collecting those minds together, because to me, in order to be a part of, they call it that circle, you all have that have to have that same drive and understanding.
Yep. Agreed.
If we dip in, we dip together.
Yeah.
If we strive in, we strive together.
Yeah.
We have to understand that is going to happen. So yes, I am right now in the process of getting this team, like a tight, not just a team, but a strong team, trustworthy team.
And so even in that, going back using this risk term, again, the greatest risk to any organization is its people, its employees.
It is.
Those are the ones who will fail you or steal from you. It's the ones who are close to you, know what's going on.
Yes.
And it matters not if you are a Terri Lyons organization,
doesn't matter,
Inc. or Ansa McCall, or the greatest risk are its people. Yeah.
Yep.
So before you start hiring, I'll volunteer my services and I'll do the interviewing. And I can interview, right? And they have to dress the part. You ain't coming and have no conversation with me with no shorts, although I probably do have them. But virtual or otherwise, rep yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so to that end, what So we are now in October, no, we're in August, going into September.
In August, today's the 27th.
There's no, although the government of Tobago hasn't pronounced, and this is it, it appears that there's no Carnival 2022 for the most part.
It doesn't appear that we will have a Carnival 2022. I mean, it's still up in the air, but the way how it's looking, it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then, by way of diversification and growth for Terri Lyons, if there's to be no Carnival, what are you planning? And you have to give out details, but you are constructing some plan so that you could continue your business and your growth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am right at this process.
Okay. Well, so as a risk practitioner, business person, you have to like stop thinking and planning and start doing. Eh? So are you doing, or are you still planning?
No, I'm doing.
Brilliant.
And planning at the same time.
All right. But you have, as I said, we're going into September, another 3 months, the last quarter of 2021. Wow, 2021 is done. And getting into 2022. So whatever planning you need to complete, you have to identify a day to execute, right? So by the time, January, God willing, 2022 rolls around, you already left the starting block. So now so that's part of your strategy. That's part of your plan.
That is part of my plan, and that is what you just advised to me for free. Thank you. So, all right. So you're still planning. There's some stuff that you already would have executed. Okay. Yes, because there's like about 3 different projects. Oh, you have any space for someone like me to get a little gig, and then she's batting her eyes. Yeah. So let's come full circle now back to what you do for a living. What is your 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, as you say, right? Entertainment. And I must ask this. Actually, if you are asked, okay, Terri, you need to do, who have you not done a collaboration with in the music space that you would like to do one with? One of the persons is locally, Marshall, foreign, Rihanna, and I also like to act. I always want to do something with Tyler Perry.
Oh, okay. Be careful what you wish for,
I don't wish, I ask.
Speaking to the universe. Okay. Yes. But you have interacted with Marshall musically.
Yes, I have.
Okay. All right. Brilliant. So, and I think you said singing, but you are multifaceted when it comes to singing. So you could sing multiple genres that I do know of you.
Yes, I
do. Obviously, Calypso soca is, I would assume, is your favorite. But putting you on the spot, which one do you excel at? But don't answer yet. So, as a risk practitioner, I come and do an assessment of Terri Lyons. You would have done in the, I find you let that one pass. I said you're 21 years old now. You agreeing with that? Eh?
If you wanted to go down lower, you could say 19.
So
why not?
So if I'm doing a risk assessment of Terri Lyons, I will look at all that you would have done in the past, that which was most profitable to you, that which was more risky, what will be more risky going forward. But that's me doing an assessment of you. So having completed that, I come to you and I said, Terri, I know you sing soca, I know you sing Calypso, but given where the world is going, and this is kind of what factual that I'm sharing with you, there's so much uncertainty, so much volatility, in the world now, COVID going beyond. Normally, I would say post-COVID. We'll never be post-COVID. That is yet. So, and I said to you, you hired me to do a risk assessment of Terri Lyons. And I said, Terri, having done a deep dive, you have to pick one of the 2 to continue to be successful. You cannot. And actually, so let's bring in some risk management. This is what we call scenario analysis, meaning what if, right? So it is like, as hypothetical or as strange as it sounds, it helps with future-proofing Terri Lyons. It's like, okay, what if you can't do both and you have to pick one? Which one will it be? Think it seriously, because if you are me to be your risk manager, these are the type of conversations we will have. When we sit down and we go through a lot of possibilities, hypotheticals, and plan to treat with that. So you're now faced with this dilemma. You cannot do both. You have to pick one.
This is hard.
Sorry?
I said, this is a hard one.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I was always asked which one I'd rather, but not so intricate, because you see, they both have situations behind it. With Calypso, I mostly succeed because they have competitions.
Right. And that you win.
Right.
And so you forgot to...
And that's it, because outside of that, like, all right, if I have to go to Miami or these places for shows, there's nothing in place for Calypso.
Okay.
That's
but you're
it.
making an argument for selecting soca over Calypso, you know.
Yeah.
So
I know, but that is why I do both, because I love both.
You can't. You just hired me to be your risk manager. And I'm saying to you, suggesting, okay, you just can't. The data shows you cannot do both. You have to do one. Which one would it be?
Well, with limited of shows with Calypso, the soca, you will let me pick. You will make me pick the soca.
All right. Okay. And by the way, we neglected to stipulate, when I introduced you and when you introduce yourself, you are the reigning Calypso Monarch of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, yeah. You know, campaigning and for oneself is a good thing. So put it out in the public there. Let it be known.
Right.
All right. So that's one hypothetical, one scenario. If you have to pick one, but if Calypso was as profitable as soca, and the same question is asked of you, Terri,
yeah,
you have to pick one. You make the same amount, so the profit margins are the same for both.
Yeah.
Which one would you pick?
I think I would go with the Calypso.
You would go with the Calypso. Do you enjoy?
Yes, I do.
I mean, more than, is that more of a natural fit for you, or?
I would think so. Yeah, it has been a more natural fit for me.
Okay.
But then I'm a person who don't like to be in a box.
Yeah. That's why you keep expanding that house you have. Yeah, I know. So, but no, that and so I'm a huge advocate into stepping out of your comfort zone, because once you get comfortable, you get complacent. Yeah.
Well, if you're talking about stepping out of my comfort zone,
yeah,
I would pick acting over both.
Oh, now we're getting somewhere.
Well, I will.
Well, is it because does that come?
I would turn on Will Smith in the morning.
Well, is it because you think it might be more profitable, or is it something that you enjoy?
No, it's something that I actually really enjoy. I love acting.
Yeah, and you have done I think you were, what's the name of the last movie that you were in?
Queen of Soca, No Life.
Right.
And also I was that was in 2017. I was in New York, and I sent in a request to find out how to go and audition for Tyler Perry.
Okay.
But by the time they answered me, I was back in Trinidad.
And so there are flights, not boats, but there are flights going back and forth. You can get your back up here?
I got it too late because I couldn't get back, because that time I was wearing blue hair and they just liked the look. So they was like, could she come in? Is she around now? And I was back, and they said, no, she don't live America. She's Trinidad. And it's like, oh. It's like, so that was, but I said, you know what?
Yeah, when you back up here, when you come up this time, try it again.
Yeah.
Because you do and again, for the folks who don't know, Terri does act. She's an entertainer, which spans multiple genres of entertainment and music. How can Terri, or what can Terri do that she has not done to take Terri Lyons further? Choose your words carefully. What have you not done as yet that, as you're sitting here and contemplating that, as we're having this conversation, what do you think, what else, or what else can you do to take Terri Lyons further in the entertainment space? And let's stay with Calypso. Let's stay in the singing space. So what
to take me to that next level,
yeah.
other than a great team, I need to get my face more with my music, because there are a lot of times I will release music and they will think it's Destra. Yeah, because the song that I have with DJ Private Ryan, people who close to me who live away.
Big up Ryan, General Ryan. Yeah.
They were like, they said, so Terri, what you release? I said, well, I released a song with Private Ryan. It's called Can't Take My Joy. They said, send it for me. And I was sending it like, wait, you sing this song? I was like, yeah, we know this song. It's like, I thought it was Destra.
So in other words, you're suggesting you need a much more robust marketing campaign,
more robust, facially, because my voice is out there, but
right. Well, yeah. So marries the voice.
So like doing a lot of videos will help towards the songs. Music videos for the song.
That's one aspect. Anything else?
Yeah. That's one aspect. And also when it comes to marketing, my marketing have to get on another level.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think merging myself with foreign companies like BMI, which I'm doing right now, in order, that is the business side of the music, where because cut don't really collect on our behalf in certain areas. So that's where BMI and these companies comes in.
So when you're staying on that with BMI and cut, so if your music, or when your music is playing in another island or here in North America, cut has nothing to do with that.
That's something that their hands don't reach
that far.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. So from where you sit now today, if we were to design a marketing plan around Terri Lyons to effect the marrying of her voice with her face, with some of the other things that you are involved with, because I'm sure there are folks out there who prior to this podcast may not know that you're also an actress.
Yeah, don't. Yeah.
May not know that you actually write 99% of your music. And,
no, they don't.
Yeah. And so that needs to be part of, because those are your skill sets. So I tell folks in my space, don't always lean in with your experience. Lean in with your skill sets, because if your experience, and they know your experience is that of a singer, they will hire you, or they will pay you just for that. But if you lean in with your skill sets, and so you push your skill sets, which include writing music, designing, modeling, and acting, then those are streams of income as well.
Also, yes, they are.
Yeah. Let's take Terri and try and clone her just a bit. So I can't think of up and coming artists. I can't. Just sitting here having this conversation. Because the question I'm going to ask you is, how can Terri help groom future entertainers? But there's no pipeline for that I'm aware of in Trinidad and Tobago, and maybe in the Caribbean. So there's no I know there's Junior Calypso, Monarch, and those types of things, yeah?
Yeah, but those are just competitions. As I said, there's a different set of connection that has to be made. Because I will go to, in 2020, I visit some schools and speaking to Form 5s. This is not even primary school. Speaking to Form 5s and Form 4s, they really don't even know or have an idea of some of their icons. Right. So there's a bridge, as I said, there's a bridge that has to be,
connected. Yeah.
It has to have that connection there in order for us to then go forward and be like, all right, now we get this part fixed. Let's go over the bridge. We can't go over the bridge if it's broken.
So the answer to, you know, building bridges from one cycle to the next, or from so when we talk about you know, the millennials to Gen Z to be baby boomers, the next gen coming up, there's no grooming. So Terri, I just had an epiphany, and maybe part of your Calypso Fiesta company,
yes,
is to offer some training and guidance and monetize that for a certain age group. Yeah,
yes.
I know it's true. And I'm hearing cha-ching, cha-ching. That's invoice number 4. Yeah. No invoice. We'll take some royalties and referral fees from that. But
okay, so
that's the beautiful thing. So I am not just a risk practitioner. I'm a business person, right? So I tell folks, some people call and ask, and you and I would have had some conversations around this. Everybody wants pro bono. Sing for the kids and okay, fine. Unless them kids, maybe it's like 12 and under, I'm not doing, don't tell me come do those things for teenagers and stuff. Because oftentimes they have funding to do that, but they would want you to come and give up your time for free. Right. And out here in North America with businesses, they say, if I come and spend 10 minutes with you, you're not paying me for 10 minutes, you know, you're paying me for the 10 years I've been preparing to do this 10 minutes. Yeah. So whenever they ask you to do a pro bono, they are neglecting that 10, 15 years Terri have been doing this so that you could give them a 10-minute free. Just bite me and spit me out. That and a green donkey you're not seeing anymore. Now, that said, part of the Academy's mandate is to develop more risk intelligence students, Form 4 and Form 5. So that we will do. But what I'm suggesting to you is opening up that pipeline so that you could share your skill sets, not experience, not experience. Share your skill sets with folks coming up. That is something you could probably go, oh, wow, you know, I'm really good at this, you know.
Pat yourself on the shoulder.
My shoulder is broad enough, too much patting. So yeah. And I want dirty my jacket. It's kind of expensive. So anyways, what we do with the Caribbean Risk Management Academy or the Trinidad and Tobago Risk Institute, no one else is doing it.
No one else.
No one else is doing it. No one, up to and including even this kind of conversation. So this morning I was having a meeting with a colleague of mine, Dr. Hardy, Karen Hardy, and she has a risk podcast called Flip the Risk, right? Pretty good. And so she has some really brand names, individuals, on the American side, and I have the same thing on the Trinidad side. So in speaking today, she says, Ken, I have to get you on your podcast. And I said, Karen, you know, if you didn't mention this, I was crossing your name off of my list, you know. And then she said, no, Ken, you have to come on my podcast. And then I said, yeah. And then you have to come on my podcast. And so it is interesting when you are first to market or you develop something. So, and that which you have done, and you did that by way of the virtual shows.
Yeah.
Well, let's discuss then sharing your skill sets for stuff coming up, right?
Sure.
Someone in the dance space doing it, and you probably know her, in Trinidad there, where she have these little outlets that people pay to come and learn how to do those things. So yeah. All right. So that's part of your diversification and growing thing. And kudos to you for getting involved. And I'm sure the other businesses that you're building aren't in the entertainment space, right?
No, they are not.
Okay. So that's like true diversification, because God forbid you wake up and you know, you get laryngitis and you can't sing for like 3 months. You want to know that you have a revenue stream coming in, right? Okay, so we have talked about Terri, future-proofing Terri Lyons, and building constructing a team around Terri Lyons. What does Terri do for fun?
This is the thing. I'm an introvert. But actually,
some people believe you when you say that, and when I say that, nobody believes me.
Serious. I'm the life of the party, but I am an introvert. There will be a time I just want to be home and I'm by myself and it's quiet. I just like being home.
A nice glass of wine.
That's why the lockdown don't really affect me. Like when
let me tell you about that. I love this lockdown.
I was like, okay, I've been doing that. Go with something else. It's the not making money part is the
so
the forgotten rush. It has forgotten our rush.
So no, but you're right though. Imagine and which is what you started doing when you did the virtual the first major successful virtual show. And so everything that you're building or you're planning now, if I am hired as one of your risk advisors, it will always be with the what if.
What if?
In big word, we call it scenario analysis. It's like having these hypotheticals that you're a bit more prepared for when things go bad.
Go bad.
Yeah, because many of us open businesses and we plan things thinking the rain will always, the sun will always be out, always have money to buy things.
Yep.
That's why many of the businesses will never reopen.
No, right? They won't.
And it matters not. So what we offer, it matters not if you're an entertainer, a doubles vendor, a conglomerate, a bank, or a furniture store. The principles are the same. Always have that in the back of your mind, that what if. Yeah, because nothing, especially in 2021 going forward, things are, there are so many uncertainties and so many difficult hurdles to jump that if you don't know that they're there, it's as bad as if knowing they're there and doing nothing about it.
So it's more or less whatever you're doing, even if you're not expecting it, you still have to prepare yourself as if something is to come.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So what's next for Terri Lyons? What today's August 20 something.
27.
Right. So from August 28th, God willing, to December 31st this year. All things being equal, and as the good Lord will continue to bless you and have you walking above ground, what, without giving too many details, what's next for you?
I
know you do travel, yeah?
Yeah, other than traveling, of course, my son being a full-time mom.
Yes. How's African?
He's great, which comes first. In studio doing not only soca and calypso, but I'm also doing other genres.
Okay.
As we speak, and I'm also working on this project, which was similar to what you were speaking of, under the heading of Calypso Fest, with assisting artists and getting them.
Yeah, kudos to you for that, because I know of your outreach to assist assist artists who are more impacted by COVID than others, and who aren't fortunate to then travel to ply their trade as most of you guys are.
So I have a few of my producers, friends that are willing to assist in producing some of these artists. So yes, so it falls under the same line of what you were speaking.
All right. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. So when do you think you might be up this way? Because seeing that you're a designer and stuff, I could think about a few things needs redesigning, but
the same time that she's writing the invoice. It's like, see that whatever he's charging me.
Touche. Yeah. So Natasha, if you're there, you have any questions for Terri?
I actually just wanted to expand on something that you were talking about. There are no appropriate, easy to remember, easy to access songs that you can sing to children. All of the things that we sing to our children, not of us. They were, they're imported. So you're singing, row, row, row your boat and that kind of thing. When our children are young, we should be singing calypsos to them. We should be humming, some popular tunes and so on. So I thought to myself, why doesn't a calypsonian put out a children's book or a children's album? And now, Terri,
that is where I was going. And
that is true. Penelope Spencer had a camp called Tipi Tambu for this August, and they taught you like playful, joyful folklore songs. That is what you were looking for. That is not online, but she's an archive herself. So everything, and she taught it to the children, folklore stories, because we don't really have folklore storybooks. We only have, Jack and Jill went up the hill. Because when she starts speaking about the folklore nursery rhymes, I remember my mom used to sing to me some nursery rhymes with two pigtail was jumping up. It's half the folklore fun kids song, when Papa done the lucky hand.
Nobody sang those things to me.
Terri, if you produce some snippets of that, post it on YouTube, it will blow. It will just blow.
Two pigtail was jumping up. Two pigtail was jumping up. Mashed potato get a jail and lock them up. But I will have to work alongside with Penelope. My mom used to sing those folklore bedtime fun songs. They have Jack and Jill. We had our stuff, but I only remembering.
No, but Terri, that is where I was going. We're talking about line of succession and to pick stuff up. But they'll need material to do that. Right. Yes, that's what Dasha is speaking to, is having that material at hand. So whether it's a YouTube, some YouTube stuff, but you have to monetize that skill set of yours, right? So it's doing, if it's putting it in a format that it could be sold, that's where I was going with that. Right? Yeah. But I don't know most of those folklore songs. I know Gina and Dinah, the lizard, where the lizard went. And I used to sing that for my son used to like it, my daughter not so much. So, but exactly to Natasha's point, that's where I was going with that. So I'll take it online.
It also have to be a harmony. It's supposed to be like a teamwork, because, just like the same way, a parent have their child for only a few hours than when they go to school, right? Okay. Yeah. And most of their influence comes from school. Now, if you can get most of that influence that is in school to be more cultural, then it would be easy for when they come home for their parents to continue.
Yeah. And the essence of full disclosure, when I was in high school in Trinidad and Tobago, Natasha, I don't think it's Terry's father, Super Blue, taught me how to play pan,
Do you remember, Ken? Do you remember even know how to play pan?
I could hit a good bottle.
You could knock some notes.
Yeah. And I know one of these songs, and every time I run into him, I'll say, when will I see you again? When will I see you again? Yeah. I was playing a double tenor.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is what's supposed to be incorporated in school. Instead of teaching them how to learn the flute, you can teach them the notes on a pan, which is even more notes. It's all about
but that's how you continue to future-proof Terri Lyons, coming up with these innovations, not just repeating that which was done before or what was. No, it's these innovative, and that's why folks come to the academy, why folks have conversations with us. So Terri Lyons.
Yeah.
So thank you for taking the time. Thank you for finally coming on Risk Unfiltered, and we'll all meet up again soon. Cheers.